Okay, so I'm going to start again because we got to do this for replication. So we have a thing called the internet, okay? So the internet was a really wonderful thing. And if I go back 5,000 years, which you already know, the first thing that created world economies was language. And then it was the printing press. And then there was a religious fanaticism. And then there was the Henry Ford invented the assembly line, a great invention. It moved into Japan, Industrial Revolution. And the oil was discovered, and the population of the world went from 1.5 billion to 7 billion in 100 years. That's incredible. Hello? You just saw all this stuff, right? That's 5,000 years. Now what happened? The internet comes. And if you had bought a toaster in Happy Days from the 50s, right? You probably still have the same toaster. Or bought a new one, but you still have a toaster in your house. What is a toaster? A toaster is an appliance. Do you think in 100 years from now, the railways will still be around? That's a utility. The railways are utilities. They're ways of moving large shipment cargo all over the world. Are you going to disagree with me? That's a physical, tangible thing. You can see it and touch it and feel it. But what are the new asset classes? The new asset classes are digital. Mm-hmm. What is Google? What is Microsoft? What is Apple? Hello, these are frickin' trillion-dollar companies right now. They're bigger than any companies that have ever existed in the history of mankind. Mm-hmm. Hello, they sell 100 million phones a year. There's 5 billion cellular phones in the world. In China, they have 4 phones. Mm-hmm. Each phone has a different phone number, and they have a different business for every cellular phone. We're in the era right now of cellular phones, yes or yes?
Yes.
Your cellular phone is a computer. Get with the program. There's more change that's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years than it has in the history of mankind. You need to know what the fuck is going on, because you're going to be roadkill. You're going to be lost. If you attend our webinar on Wednesday night, you'll be one of the richest people that you have ever met with $5,000. $1,000 in 5 coins will be worth $5 million in about 3 months. And you go, what the frick is this guy talking about? Shame on you if you don't go to that webinar, and she's got the link. I sent it to her on my WhatsApp channel. When she sends you the link, the guy's name is Tika Tawarga. It's got nothing to do with me. You can argue with me and you can kick and scream and spit, and I don't care, because the facts are the facts. This is gravity, and you will make millions of dollars in this world called cryptocurrency. It's the fastest growing asset class in the history of mankind. And I'll give you examples. Have you ever heard of Airbnb?
Yeah.
The largest accommodation website in the world, they have no assets. Have you ever heard of Uber?
Yeah.
The largest taxi service company in the world, they don't own a car. You get what I'm saying, okay? Mm-hmm. Who took out Blockbuster Video? Netflix. They offered to buy joint venture with Blockbuster, and now they have a museum, 1 store left in the whole world just for posterity. Okay? Who took out Target, Sears, Zellers? Have you ever heard of these companies?
Amazon.
Dinosaurs, Amazon. They went from brick and mortar to click and order. Multi-millionaires
They
made.
just took out Toys R Us, which was
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you something you already know. So I'm going to segue from that to something that you don't know, that you're aware of, but you don't know what the frick is going on. Okay? So all the money in the world, all the money in the world. Here's all the money in the world, you guys. All the money in the world is $200 trillion. $200 trillion. Okay? All the money in the world is $200 trillion. This is just ridiculous number. Just okay. But if half of that is 100 trillion, you get that? So 100 trillion, and you hear about the deficits, the governments are going bankrupt, everything's bankrupt, all the banks are bankrupt because they're printing money, digital money, everything's going down, it's going to be a bubble and it's going to pop and the world's going to crash. You hear the news, yes or yes. Why are they storming Hong Kong? 2 million people on the freaking street. They don't want to go to communism. They don't want to be controlled. You know, like why don't we have a pipeline? They're keeping people poor here. Did you know that the Fort McMurray fires was arson? Record that, send that to Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is a traitor. He took our Alberta money and he bought the Keystone Pipeline and says, we're approving the Keystone. And then the next week he's promoting we're not going to do the pipeline because of the natives or whatever. The guy's an idiot. There's two economies, your economy and the world economy. I'm here to create our economy and fuck the rest of the economy. We're going to create our own economy and we're going to storm the parliament. We're going to have 100 million people what I'm going to show you here. And you're going to go, wow, that's kind of cool. I'm a crusader. I'm a crusader. And if you like the feeling of helping the poor people, join the party because I'm all about helping the people that have nothing to get to something. Does that make sense? So $100 trillion is 1% of that is $1 trillion, right? So $1 trillion is what percentage of 200 trillion? It's 0.05. But if you look at this number here, it's called 300 billion. 300 billion is 30% of $1 trillion. Why am I talking about all this nonsense? Because all the money in the world right now is in the banking system and in the governments. And there's actually 5 billion people that don't have a bank, and there's about 2 to maybe 3 billion people that have a bank. Okay? Call this the bank, right? We're going to go help people that don't have bank accounts get rich, and we're going to help the people that have bank accounts get richer. Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
And you're going to get rich in the process. You cannot help it. You will become rich because you know this information. So, you know when the internet started in 1986, and by the year 2000, that's only 4 years. They had this thing called .com, and then there was a thing we called it .bomb. Every guy and his cow and had a .com company. There were frauds. There's frauds all the time. You got to realize that people out scammers, and the biggest trend right now is cybercrime. The Nigerian calling it, you're Revenue Canada, and we're going to get your seize your bank account. You got to pay us money, whatever. Her son got scammed for $1,800. Revenue Canada scam.
He's in the university.
Cybercrime. Okay.
So how you know it's Nigeria?
So
Because they have an accent.
Because they are percent that maybe Nigeria.
That's what.
okay.
These
So
are
you guys.
They just did to me in India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Scammers,
what, they're
right?
not Nigeria,
So
they're India.
everybody's pissed off, everybody's starving, and everybody's broke,
I know, right?
and everybody's gonna get broker. That's the way it's gonna go,
Uh-huh.
unless you get with the program. So there's a magical thing I want to tell you. It cost me $100,000 to learn this. I've invested $300,000 in my education. As I said, I'm giving you my experience, and the knowledge I give to you is free. If you don't want to agree with it, you don't have to agree with it. But it's still like gravity, it still works. I know the tax classification of assets and income, you need to get out of those silos and get over here in the tax-free zone. You need to figure out how to make money. Okay? So, in less than 3 years, 10% of the world's money is going to be in the space that we're in right now. And if you miss this boat, in 3 years from now, I say, why didn't you tell me? You're my friend. Okay? So $1,000 is going to be worth $100,000. So I'm here just to apply for $1,000. That's it. And if you don't get it, don't get it. But I can tell you this, it's going to go to $100,000. $1,000 is going to go to $100,000 in this space. It's called cryptocurrency. And you can go to the webinars and videos and you learn all about it part-time. Once you go down this rabbit hole, you're not coming back. It's going to be like, wow, I never knew. How come I didn't know this? Because they don't want you to know. So now what you have to realize is that the banks don't want you to know this, and they're pissed off right now. So watch this. Email did to the post office what Google, Google was like email, did to the post office what Bitcoin is doing to the banks. Okay, Bitcoin, like I said, what's Bitcoin? Tell me what Bitcoin. Do you know what Bitcoin is?
It's internet currency.
It's internet currency. Do you know what Bitcoin is?
What?
You've never heard of
Internet
Bitcoin?
currency. Bitcoin, when people first bought into Bitcoins, it was really low, and now some of those people that actually bought into Bitcoins are like seriously rich people.
There's
Seriously rich.
more billionaires made in the last 10 years in Bitcoin
Just
than
from
any
Bitcoin,
other
right?
industry in the
I
world.
have a friend.
Okay, so,
Ask me,
but do
please.
you even know what Bitcoin is? If you don't, thank Jesus you're here today. I am not kidding you, because it's been around for 10 years. 10 years, if you bought $10,000 of gold, and this is 2008,
Mm-hmm.
you would have about $10,000 in gold today. But inflation is still, it went up 50%, cost of living, gas, food is 100% more. If you put $10,000 in the S&P 500, you know what that is? She knows what that is. In the locked-in retirement account, she can have her money in an index fund on the top 500 US stocks in the United States, and she can make about 16% a year on her money. But then when it goes down 50%,
You lose it.
and you gotta wait 10 years to get it back, she doesn't want that to happen. So she gotta figure out how to put her money in the sideline because it's gonna pop. So the $10,000 in the last 12 years, the longest expansion and money appreciation in the history of the last 100 years. Why? Donald Trump. I know you hate him already, okay? But it doesn't matter because Donald Trump has made USA
You are
great
in
again,
video,
right?
huh?
So the bottom line,
You're in the video.
I'm on the video. Yeah, good. So 10,000 went to 50,000. So that, whatever amount of money you have in your lira, if it's exposed to blue chip stocks, it's gonna go down 30% in the next couple of years. So you gotta figure out how to be your own asset allocator, whatever. So, but then if you put $10,000 in Bitcoin, BTC, you would have how much today? 1 billion, 1 billion, 1 billion is 1,000 millions. You'd have 1.1 billion. $10,000. What if you just had 1,000? I'll take 100 million. And do you know the next Bitcoin is? If you don't, it won't matter because I'll be rich and you won't. Okay? Presentation's over.